Hi guys, it's Kelly here and I'm back with another video. Today's video is featuring some products from Honeybee Stamps. I am using the Mini Messages Holiday, the sentiment banners, the seasonal signs, dies, and stencils, and the mini holiday florals. Did I forget any? No, I think that's it. So these seasonal signs, this is the second or third time I've used it. Really like this set, really versatile set. So today we're going to use it to do a winter, it could be a Christmas card. The sentiment I chose isn't particularly Christmassy, but that's neither here nor there. I just think that they make really cute cards. So I personally like to cut everything out of white and then color it. That's not going to be for everybody, and that is okay. Feel free to cut it out of colored cardstock if that is what you prefer. Here, I just wanted to show you that I did cut all of those dies out, but of each of the leaves or branches, I needed two, and then I just use my little die release tool. Like, I just poke straight through my tape over my little bowl, especially for the little like the little berries when they're stuck in there. I like to just put them right over the bowl so I don't have to chase them around like crazy. And then once I'm done doing all of my die cutting, I like to sort them out, and I sort them out into matching like pairs, whatever goes with each other, all the bow pieces or all of the branch pieces, or whatever. But then I also like to gather them up by color as well, because I color on a glass mat. You can pick up some of the other colors if you don't clean up in between. So I do like to do them kind of all at the same time. So for my sign, I did go with the brown kind of wood grain look. And you can see I flipped it over and did the other side. The only reason I'm doing the other side is I wanted to show you what it would look like if you just use the stencil. I combined it with other sets, but you don't have to. You could get the sentiment and the background, everything just out of the die and the stencil. So I wanted to show you that, but I like combining my things because I feel like it gives me more mileage out of the items that I've purchased. But anyway, so I did it brown, a warmer brown, and then kind of just added some extra shading kind of around the edges. And then in that stencil, the seasonal sign stencil, there is a wood grain. So I am going to use that as well with my sticky mat to kind of hold it in place. And then I'm not going to show you the whole stenciling because this is kind of a long, well, I mean, it's my average length video. But I did just want to show you what it would look like with the stencil. And you're meant to be able to do all of the seasons with the stencils. They have, Hello Summer and Spring and, Happy Fall. They're all there. So we're just going to cruise right along here doing what we do. And are you ready? Are you ready for the holidays? Are you? I'm not. Oh, nobody's surprised by that, least of all me. Oh, here, this is the one that I did. So I did the wood grain, and then I did the snowflakes and the little gloves in the background. And then I did a navy Hello Winter right over top. So this is actually on the back of the one that I did because I'm too cheap. Because I'm too cheap to waste the paper. So you'll see later on in the video when I flip it over to glue it, you'll be like, oh, there you are again. Hi. So for my little hanger, I just colored in with some black and some dark grays. Because of the way the hanger is shaped, it's very rounded. So I am adding my black to the inside of that, and then my mid-tone, and then on the lightest portion will be the roundest topmost portion. And then I did the same thing kind of with the holder pieces that sit on the bottom. Ultimately, you can't even see those in the finished card. Real talk, y'all, because I have so much greenery. But that's okay. If you're somebody, maybe you're somebody who's watching because you just got this and you want to see how to put it together, I'm happy to show you. This is how you put it together before you cover it all up. So, oh, and it was a little off, so I had to fix that to make sure that they were seated correctly. Here is the part that I was telling you, like, to remember to clean up your non-porous surface if you are using one like I am, because if I had left that black down there when I go to color my little mitten, what do you color that? The mitten cuff? The floofy part of the mitten. If I had left the black down there and I want these to be white or read as white, I could have picked that up and then just ruined the whole thing. So we don't want that. So I knew going in that I wanted my color scheme to be like a red and a teal and then another supporting color. In my case, it ended up being like more of a yellow green family, because originally my intention was to do the base of my card in a dark teal. That's not what happened. Obviously, you saw the thumbnail. The red just looked better. But you'll have a chance to see both of them. And if you're just here for the embossing technique, I apologize, but I have to color everything first. So it's a little closer to the end of the video. So for these mittens, you can like stack them and leave the heart open, which would just have the base color showing through. Or you can use the base to put your mittens on and then fit your hearts in and use it as a true base. Which for me, that is what I did. I just am outlining that edge because I don't want this white edge showing through and ruining the illusion of my my little mittens. And then I'm gonna do the red on the little hearts. I do like the way that this card came out, and I don't say that about all of my cards. I think this one is really, it's simple, but I think that it is I think it's a good one because it's a lot of neutral items. And I like that. I like when we can double down on the products that we have and use them for multiple things. I am here for that. Even in my own illustrations, if you guys have followed me, you know I'm here for the versatility of those sets. And I'm the same way when I'm looking for sets to use, whether I'm creating them or purchasing other people's. I like a lot of versatility. I don't want any one trick ponies. So yeah, so I'm totally not ready for Christmas. And in fact, I was flabbergasted today when my husband went to take Peanut over to my ex-husband's, and he like gave me a hug and a kiss and was like, "Love you, see you on Christmas." And I was like, "Say again? Say it again?" And he was like, "Yeah, I won't. I'm dad's this weekend. I'm at dad's this weekend." And then it's his year to have him on Christmas Eve. He was like, "So I won't see you until Christmas." And I was like, "Poof. That's a long time. That's a rough go." Like, I wasn't ready. He just took the wind right out of my sails. So we're really getting down to it. And it did come up fast on me this year. So here, this is the way I treat all of the kind of like lovely layers. And I just stack them right on top of each other, and then I use my lightest color to mark where the shading should go. So that way I can color them in layers and know when I layer them back up, they're going to look super dimensional, and I'm going to be really, really happy with the way that they lay on top of each other. So I was that it really kind of caught me off guard. I guess I knew it was coming up, but I didn't realize it was like now. And I do still have just a couple of little presents that I have to get. Can you even believe that? Yeah. And my poor husband, and you guys, every single year, I love him, and I try to tell myself I'm gonna do better. Um, but then I can't do better. Like I cannot. I am who I am, and it's not better about picking up the presents or wrapping them any earlier. I am. I don't know. I think they say like people who always like run late, like you're more optimistic because you always think you have more time than you do. Like, that's your attitude about it. Well, that's me. I always think I have more time than I do, whether I'm getting ready to go out or we're talking about Christmas shopping. And this poor man, is always up until the wee hours of the Christmas morn with me. And I love him for it. I love it. He complains about it. I can't fault him. It's not his fault. It is my fault. And if I was the type of person who couldn't take any responsibility, I would actually say it's my mother's fault. Because when I was growing up, like the Christmas presents didn't go out under the tree until after we were in bed on Christmas Eve. And I've continued that tradition because I loved it as a kid. I loved it as a child. Like, who am I even kidding? I love it now as an adult. Like, the getting up on Christmas morning and then all of a sudden, there's these presents under the tree. Now, obviously, I'm the mom, so I'm putting them underneath there, but it just makes my heart warm and fuzzy on Christmas Eve to just see the whole thing put together. And my husband he's a trooper to keep my warm fuzzy Christmas things alive. So we took the kids to get their picture taken with Santa. So my oldest he's clued in, which makes me sad because that time has come and gone in our household. But we explained, how Santa is an idea. It's a feeling. Santa, everybody gets to play a little bit of Santa. And, and we've explained to him, that to keep that information or those ideas to himself, so that he doesn't ruin it for somebody else. And I will put a little warning on this to let you, in case you watch with your littles, like skip over that portion. But it does mean that he, gets to enjoy the contributing part a little bit more. And so then when we go see Santa, he is still nice. He is still plays, his part. And his part now at this age is to, is to support his sister, because she don't want no part of him. Okay. She doesn't. I'm just going to be real with y'all. She doesn't sit on his lap. She doesn't want to talk to him. None of it. Like when she goes up there to get her picture taken with Santa, she's with her brother, period. Like whether it's sitting on his lap or standing next to him or, having him do the talking, she relies solely on her big brother to be the go-between, because she's not talking to him at all. She doesn't quite have a meltdown, which I think, like if she didn't have her big brother with her, I do think it would be a meltdown, truly. But because she does have him, as kind of like a little security blankie, she'll stand there at least for the picture with him, but she ain't having no conversation. So we did take them to go get their pictures taken, and last year we braved the mall, which was a lot. It was a lot. Even though we booked ahead, it was still quite a bit. And then there was this very, very long line to get our photos. Because I think, what did Eric tell me? The camera person was on break or something. I don't know. I mean, everybody's entitled to a break. I'm not sure what the holdup was, but we had to wait a long, long time. And the kids were hungry, and it was no good. So this year, actually, one of the greenhouses by us does Santa, and you check in online. It's almost like, how CVS or Walgreens or whatever has their med set, where you can book a doctor's appointment, and then it'll send you a text when it's your turn to go up there. It's kind of like the same thing. You go online, you book it, and then you get there 10 minutes before, and you're already signed up to have your pictures taken. And it was so much cheaper, exponentially cheaper. And we got a flash drive with just all of the images on it, so that we can take, or print out as many photos as we would like, for $25. And they took pictures of us with the kids and Santa and the kids, and some candids with, me carrying Caitlin, and Eric carrying Caitlin, Nathan and Santa having a conversation. It was so much better. And then while I was there, I got to get my Christmas centerpiece for my house for when the things that we're hosting. And I want you to know, when we get to the part of this video where we're putting glitter on the things, I want you to know that the one that I picked has a succulent, has a Christmas cactus, and has a poinsettia. And that poinsettia is covered in glitter, folks. So glitter's not just for the cards anymore. It's for everything. It's for my poinsettia. What will happen to that poinsettia long term, I do not know. I'm only responsible for keeping it alive during the holiday season, and after that, I can make no promises. Because I'm not good at it. I have 2 plants that I can keep alive. One of them is a amaryllis, and the other one is a monstera. And monsteras grow to be huge houseplants. Mine is not huge at all, and I've had it for years, probably because I'm doing something to it that it shouldn't have done. Which, it's still alive, so I'm calling it a win. Here, I'm using 2 of our little foam dots. Yes, they were stacked together, and that is because my little jelly bean thinks that they are her stickers, and so she peels them off, and I want to cry when she does, but she peels them off, and then she sticks them to each other on the back of my chair until she's 6 deep. And I refuse to not use them, even though they aren't as sticky as they were before, because that's such a waste. But anyway, so I wanted my little mittens to be attached, so I used just this is just white DMC thread, and I held it in place with my little foam pieces. I stacked up all of my greenery. I basically just started with the darkest green to the yellow green to the blue green, and just laid them right on top of each other, and then tucked those 2 little pine cones up. And now I'm putting glue on the the bow, picked up the teal ones, put glue on the teal ones to go back and pick up the yellow green ones. If you've watched me make any other card before, you know that this is just how I do it if I'm not using press and seal, because I don't want to have to keep arranging them. Once I was happy with how they looked and I got them glued down to the sign, then I went in for my little berries so that I could just kind of tuck them in different places. And I do try to work in odd numbers just because that's kind of more pleasing. I think I have 5 on one side and 7 on the other, and then I have the bow in the middle. So here is where we can see I put it on the red. I like it on the red, but I want to see how it's going to look on the teal, because that was my original intention. And it turns out that looks better on the red. I like it better on the red, which is fine. So I'm just going to move it over. Before I move on to the technique, I am going to do the glittering so that way it can be drying while I'm doing the other things. So I'm just using some glossy accents, and I'm just hitting up the leaves, the bow. You know, I'm putting down enough that it's going to pick up the glitter, but not so much that the whole thing is covered. A couple of different ways you can add this rock candy glitter. You can use the spatula side of your die release tool from Honeybee as like a scoop, which I did here, and that works really well. I like to kind of press mine in, and in order to do that and not have your fingers come out with glue, you want to have like a really thick layer, and then you just kind of press it in. You don't want to smush it about. I know you saw me smush it, but this is a do as I say, not as I do. But then you smush it in. Alternatively, you can make a pile of the glitters and then press it into the pile of glitters. So here I've put the glossy accents onto just the heart portion of my little mittens. I'm going to dump them over, press them in, and that's going to leave me with a little pile of glitters. And then I'm going to add the line to my little mittens, a little line of glossy accents there, and I'll just flip them over and kind of like dip them down into the glitter and press it in that way. So a couple of different ways, whichever way works for you, totally cool. All right, now we're finally to the technique, 20 minutes in. We are going to create our own embossed lines. And if you have a scoreboard, you can use that. I'm going to use a trimmer. And this one is, I wanted to show you can do it with a bone folder and a trimmer first. I'm going 3/4 of the way in on each, like the top and the bottom, and I am doing a debossed line. So I'm pushing in the line at 3/4. This is going to give me that panel look that you see on like front doors and fronts of cabinets and things like that. And so I find it easier to set my perimeter first and then go back. So I'm counting out the 3/4 of an inch, and then you can see me kind of like press it in to kind of mark where it needs to be. And then, I do count a couple of different times because I like to double check it. So I kind of, press it in so I know where I need to stop. Alternatively, if you have the new Spellbinders trimmer, this one has a cutter, that's the gray one at the top, but it also comes with a scorer. So that's this one here, and you just use the white one. Like you line it up and then you move your 3/4 of an inch, and it does score your paper for you. Super handy when you're creating card bases. But because the scored lines are different on the Spellbinders, it's a little bit thinner. I am still going back in with my bone folder so that they're the same thickness. But this is 2 different ways that you can do this. Or like I said, if you have a score, like a score pal, you can do that on there as well. You can do this to create frames, with crisscross frames or, rectangle frames, squares. You can do your own designs. You could do like a diagonal, or like a plaid, like a double. You could do that as well. And this is just a fun way that you can create your own patterns without an embossing folder. It's not, you don't need the folder. You don't need anything. This is just you and a bone folder or a stylus, and you can build off these different patterns, whatever you feel like. You can do stripes, horizontal or vertical. But I obviously am intentionally trying to create the look of a front door. So here's how it looks to begin with, which is debossed. I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to press from the back, and I'm going to go about 1/8 of an inch out, and I'm going to do it again. So this is going to give me that double look where you see the cabinets or you see the front doors, and it looks like one is kind of stacked on top of the other. That's what this is going to give us. And it worked. It worked swimmingly for the look that I was going for. And you can feel that dimension in the card base. Really very easy to do. You just have to watch, your measurements and make sure you're paying attention when you're marking it. So once I was done with the embossing, here I'll show you what it looks like. We're back on the front here. So one line is debossed, pressed in. One line is embossed, pressed out. And then I just went around the edges with aged mahogany and added just a little bit of color around the edges to kind of catch those raised areas and make it a little bit darker. You don't have to do that. For the sentiment, like I said, the stencils have many, but I wanted to have that big kind of greenery with the bow and all of that. So that's why I chose the mini, what is it called? What did I tell you guys it was called? Mini Messages Holiday. And they have a bunch of these. They have fall and it's everything. And they have dies that match, or you can do what I did and use the sentiment banners because it has a finished edge, which I love. And I just white heat embossed that on that teal color that I thought was originally going to be my background, but wasn't. And then once that is set, I can go ahead and find the banner size that's going to work the best, and then die cut that out and begin building the final card. So, anyway, yeah, I was able to get my glittery poinsettia. Very, very excited about that. I think it's super pretty. Because we are hosting just, a couple of, we're doing Sunday dinners, which I shared with you guys. But then we're going to my mom's for Christmas, but Eric's family is coming here for us to do our Christmas. And then I believe we're going to host New Year's as well. So here I did pop this up on foam, and my intention was for it to kind of tack my little mittens in place, but somehow I missed it. I missed the mark. So I'm going to go ahead and glue my sign down on my little door. Doesn't it look like the top of a door? I think it does. I think it's so cute. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this down, and like that little bit of embossing didn't really take any time at all. And it adds so much to the feel of the card. I just love when they come together. So what I did was I kind of slid my little mittens up, and then I grabbed the string on the other side and pulled it through with my tweezers. And then I'm just going to put a little bit of glue in there to just make sure that they stay tacked into place. And I have that foam underneath the mittens that is also attaching it. On these types of signs, would you do rhinestones? Maybe not. If you're me, absolutely you would, because who doesn't love the glitters? And I'm going to add some more clear glitter to the bow as well, because I can't stop myself. And then that's going to be both cards. That's going to be the whole card. So I hope this inspires you to, use your neutral things a little bit different, and combine your sets to get more out of what you have. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I always appreciate your time, and I'll catch you on the next video. Bye.